cut an access port flange into some dead man boxes, and what we've already done is we've prepared these, we've plasma cut these, so I know roughly I need it down here. So just to get started, you know, for argument's sake, I'm just going to kind of get an eyeball right there. Whenever you're measuring center, if this is 20.5, you know, that's 10.25. But I always measure back the other way, because then you can never make that mistake of doing the mental math wrong. Believe it or not, I've seen it happen more than once. The height really doesn't matter. So our center point mark is right there. So from right there, we're gonna go up. I know I want to be in around here on my flange, so I want to be 7.5 inches. So I'm gonna do 3 3/4 up, and then 7.5 down. And then the other way, 3 3/4, 7.5. Okay, it's kind of hard to see because the markers don't really like this. Then what I usually do, nothing's really accurate. This access port's only meant for this. So usually, like, I mean, you could get a level and do this, but like I can see square pretty good, so it's not. I don't have an issue with that. So I'm just connecting the 2 points and like eyeballing up an edge to make sure it looks pretty square. And then that's my, it's the line down there doesn't show. And then that's gonna be my hole. Zip disc on, always keep in mind there's usually a ridge on a grinder nut, and that ridge is for thicker discs. There's sometimes it sits flush or an imprint, and that's for zip discs, because sometimes I see people put this on and the disc doesn't get sandwiched between the two nuts. It actually just spins on the arbor, and you always want to kind of wiggle it before, and you really should have it unplugged, but you can tighten it up with that nut, and you can turn it on, make sure it's good. So what we're going to do when we're zip cutting this, we're going to go around and score it all, and then I'll probably go around a third into the material, scoring it, and then what I'll do after that is I'll bury the disc and kind of cut it all, so it should be pretty good. Before I do this, I want to mark up, so what I'll do, so just really simply, I'll put a 4 on there because this is our 4th access point. So that you don't want to mix these up, because we didn't spend a lot of time making this square. We don't. This is only going to go in one way. So. Okay, so we're just gonna quickly go over like scoring something. So I've already cut a couple sides here, but when you're scoring something, you don't pull backwards. The grinding wheel is spinning into the material, and I'm actually pulling it forward, so the sparks aren't going everywhere. So you can see I got a line across, and I'll go back and forth a couple times and get it a little bit deeper. I'll score it out, just the inside corners that sometimes hang it up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put a 1/4 inch disc on here and deburr it. Now sometimes you see sometimes grinding discs don't come off, and because this one actually did, I'll just show you. So like sometimes they lock on there and you can't get them off, and if you don't have a wrench, what you can do, and this is a small grinding disc, usually you only do this when you get to the end, is sometimes you can bump the grinding disc on something and it'll actually break it free. Other times, if it's really small, what I do is I lock it, and then I break the grinding disc in half, and then it gives me a nice solid edge to hit it on something and knock it free. So now we're just going to get the 1/4 inch disc, just this one, the ridge on that nut goes towards the disc. And when we're going to grind this really quickly, I'm not going to hit it like this with the edge because you're going to ride up and down all the ridges. I'm going to hit it nice and flat. Do is we're going to go down on the ground where the welder is, and we've plasma cut these 3 holes, so we're going to lay it on here, center it up, and we're going to plug weld those, and that's what's going to keep it on. Now the reason we do it this way is because there's a reason these hoppers and chutes are made out of thicker materials, because the product's coming down, it's going to wear it out. So you don't want to put something thin on there. This is going to drop in there perfectly, and that's why you can't mix it up. We're going to plug weld these, and I'm going to weld the number 4 on here, like I marked it, number 4. And I know which way's up, and then we're gonna place it, and then we're gonna bolt it up. On this off here, I gotta remember which way's my top, so I'm gonna mark it, number 4, just so you don't forget. Then with the vice grips, I'm just gonna clamp this on here. Try to eyeball that. It's not really going to super matter because these things aren't interchangeable, and you can't flip them around, you can't move it, so that's why we mark up and down, and like it's not going to be perfect, but for what this is, I think we'll be fine. So right here, I'm just going to plug weld these, and I'm going to put a number 4 on here, and that's going to be it. Okay, that's good. For what it's worth, I might run another pass on these just to fill it up. You don't want this thing coming loose. Okay, so this one was number 4. I marked it there. This is the number 4 marked on it, and you can see it just drops in there nice, right? So, like again, like I said, it's probably not going to not fit in any other direction but this, right? So that's why we labeled it. So now what we're going to do is we got a drill bit. We're going to start drilling and tapping our holes. So our first. So what I do is I'll kind of move it around and angle it to get it in there. So now I'm going to tap this hole, and because I had some issues with the AR plate before, some of these being really hard, I'm going to use a hand tap. And if it was, I know these ones, I'm pretty sure those aren't going to be AR plate, but I'm going to hand tap this one because I don't want to break them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt this up. Okay, so we got the one bolt tapped. I think it is a bit hard. It's really kind of hard to say right now. But what we're going to do is with this on here, we're going to tap and drill and put bolts in as we go, and then we know for sure it's going to fit. Yeah, this is AR plate. I know these ones will go a lot smoother, so I'm just taking my time. You can see when I started that hole, I wouldn't really recommend. I kind of wallowed it out a bit after running through the tap drill through there, but This is just because with a 75% thread depth on a standard tap and drill, I don't think we need it for this, but so you gotta watch that. I could kind of tell coming up to this because we ran into this a while ago here, but the new ones up top I don't think will have the same issues. So I'm just gonna work my way around. I'm gonna drill, and every time I drill and tap something, I'm gonna put a bolt in, and then that's pretty much it.